In this how-to video, I'm going to talk a little bit about how to use the PM5 monitor, or PM4 or PM3. PM5 is the latest kind of monitor that a Concept2 has, and it's got various bits of functionality to it. And so this video is going to go over things like, how to find out what your drag factor is, how to program workouts in there, and things like that. So the first thing to do is to turn the monitor on, and typically that monitor is turned on with the menu button right here. And then the simplest thing you can do if you just want to start rowing is hit the just row button. So if you hit that, then it's going to set up for just rowing. There are various buttons down here at the bottom that do various different things. So if you, for example, wanted to change the display to the pace boat or to watts, there's a graph there. If you just wanted the sort of simplest readout here, this is your time, this is your split for 500 meters, this is your distance, and this is your cadence or your stroke rate down here. So that's a simple display that's kind of helpful. If you click it again, it gets a little bit more complicated, and it does things like, for a certain distance, it projects, how far you're going to travel. In your split, it will tell you, how many meters you've done in your split. It'll give you an overall average for the whole thing. And then up here in this screen is essentially sort of a half screen version of the screen I just showed you, with cadence and time and pace for 500 meters and distance traveled. If you want to access the force curve, you're going to see this. So if you row a few strokes, you're going to see your force curve show up here. And that's quite helpful for figuring out like how well you're using your drive, how cohesive it is, how effectively that you're connecting with the machine. It's a bit beyond the scope of this video, and I have another video that's sort of a force curve primer that's going to be better for you if you want to understand how the force curve works. But I'm going to go ahead and set this on the simplest screen. You can change the units right here by clicking this button. This gives us an average 500 meters. This is watts right here, so if you want to look at power, calories per hour, and then back to split. So that's some basic functionality. When you hit the menu button, you're presented again back to the main menu. So anytime you want to get back to the main menu, you just hit the menu button. So some of the things that you might like to see here are, if you click more options, there are various different options here in terms of first of all, some fun games you can play. The fish game is kind of fun. It's like, rowing harder and less hard to try and avoid big fish and eat little fish and medium-sized fish. There's darts in here, which is a game that allows you to learn some consistency, and then target training here, where you set it up for a specific pace and try and get to that pace. There's other options in here, but I think one of the really important ones is display drag factor. So if you click on display drag factor, you're going to need to row on the machine, and it'll tell you what your drag factor is. It's roughly correlated with the damper on the side of the machine, but no two machines are really created equal. And the way that these machines age, it's typical that you have to push the damper up on the side of the machine to get the drag factor up. And so if you want to know what your drag factor is, you can just select that and get that drag factor to display. Depending on your weight and your experience level, that's going to change. And I'm sure there are other videos out there that explain drag factor pretty well. But that's how to do it. You set it up, press the buttons in that way, and then row a few strokes, and it's going to display your drag factor. One of the other important things you can do is connect the monitor to various apps. Concept2 have a vast ecosystem of apps that you can use. There's ErgData, which is Concept2 own app, but there's also lots of other apps out there as well. So if you wanted to connect that to another app, typically PM5 is all Bluetooth. So you can hit the connect button, And this is the ID of the machine. So when you're ready to connect an app with ErgData or a third-party app, you will know this is the ID number of the machine, and there are various ways to connect the PM5 to those apps to record data or provide other entertaining experiences. There's heart rate as well, so if you want to connect a heart rate monitor, typically if you connect the heart rate monitor to the PM5 monitor, then apps are going to take that data from the heart rate, and then that's going to go to the app. So connecting the heart rate sensor is just as simple as clicking that button, and if you're wearing a heart rate monitor, it's going to show up there, and then you pair it with the machine, and now you're paired up with the heart rate monitor. One of the keys is setting the monitor up for doing different workouts. So to select a different workout, you hit select workout. And first of all, there's a standard list. So if you're just looking for some standard rowing, such as the 2K, you can hit standard list. And the defaults here are 2,000 meters, 5,000 meters, 10,000 meters, 30 minutes, and then 5 minutes, 500 meters with a 1 minute rest in between. So if you just want to do a 2K row, you can hit standard list and then hit 2,000, and it's going to set up for 2,000 meters pretty quickly like that. For more complicated workouts, you can customize your list as well, so you can change the different things here, and there are options to do that. If you want to re-row the piece that you did last time, you can hit re-row, and using these arrows right here, you can go up and down to different things that you might have done. So for example, on the 12th of December, I rowed up 10 times 1 minute on, 1 minute off. If I want to do that again, I just navigate that arrow to it and hit the re-row, and that's going to program the monitor for 1 minute on, 1 minute off times 10. So that's one thing you can do. For more complex workouts, like interval workouts, I'm back at the main menu here, so I hit menu. You can hit select workout, and let's go for new workout right here. So let's say, you know, you've got a workout that's a little bit different. You can do single distance or single time. So if I want to do a single distance of 2,500, I could move the cursor. So what I'm doing is I'm clicking these buttons right here to move the flashing number either left or right. If the number is flashing, then these plus or minuses will allow the monitor to change those numbers. So if I wanted to do just a 2,500 meter piece, I can also change the split length. What's kind of funny, I think, is that when you set it up for 2,000 meters, the Concept2 defaults to 400 meter splits, which is a bit strange because we really kind of live and die by the 500 meter split. But if you wanted to change those splits, you could do that. You could also put a pace boat there, so if you knew you needed to hold a certain split, you could program that in, and then the pace boat, which I showed you, you can access with the display button. That's going to show up in the bottom of the screen, and it's going to help you kind of keep pace with that pace boat. So that's one option. Single time works the same way. You've got, you know, 30 minutes is the default. Again, the split length is every 6 minutes, so you're going to get 5 splits of 6 minutes. So it's a very similar thing, moving the flashing number, and then up and down changes that number until you have what you want. And then when you're ready to go, you hit the check button, and then it programs the monitor, and there you are set for a 40-minute piece, for example. The next thing is to look at interval workouts. So if I select workout right here, same menu, I go new workout, and then I've got various options here, as you saw in the previous segment. If I hit intervals, it's going to give me some various options. I can do intervals distance, intervals time, intervals calorie, or variable distance. So let's say, for example, I wanted to do 6 500 meter pieces. So the interval here is distance. So I'm going to hit that button, and if I wanted to go 500 meters, and let's say I wanted to do 500 meters and I wanted a rest time of 3 minutes, this is going to set up intervals of 500 meters with 3 minutes rest, and then when I hit go, it's going to sit there and it's going to be ready for 500 meters. So you would row 500 meters, and then it would stop, and it would show you the rest time for 3 minutes, and then it would reset after 3 minutes back to 500 meters. You can do as many of them as you would like. So that's basically how the intervals work on the system. So going back to select workout, new workout, and intervals, we get to this menu as we've seen. You might have a more complicated workout. So for example, you might have a variable interval. So one of the workouts that I do somewhat regularly is a descending time interval workout. So for example, let's say I wanted to do 7 minutes, and then 6 minutes, and then 5 minutes, then 4 minutes, then 3 minutes, then 2 minutes, and then one minute, and have 1 minute of rest in between each of those different segments. I'm going to hit time here, and I'm going to change this up to 7 minutes right here. All right. And then I'm going to go and I'm going to change my rest time to be 1 minute. This could be a steady state workout. And then I'm going to hit the check button right here. And now I want to do the same thing again. So I'm going to hit time again because I want another time interval. And it kind of defaults to what it was before. And then you can hit the downward arrow. And now I've got a 6 minute piece with 1 minute of rest. And then I hit the OK button. And then I'll just continue. So this will be how I would program that workout. I'm going to hit OK on that one. I'm now in the 4th interval, go down again, hit OK. Let's do time again, and then 3 minutes, hit OK. Time, down to 2 minutes, hit OK. Time, and then finally a 1 minute piece, and then I'm going to hit OK. And then when I'm done programming it, I can say no more intervals, and now it's set up for a 7 minute piece. I'm going to row 7 minutes, and then it's going to give me a minute of rest or light paddle, whatever it is I want to do, grab some water, and then after that minute is done, it will go 6 minutes, then 1 minute of rest, 5 minutes, then 1 minute of rest, all the way down until I've finished my 1 minute piece, and then it'll stop. So that's basically how you would go ahead and program your interval workouts. You can do more complicated interval workouts like variable intervals right here, right? And so the options here is you could do a calorie workout, and then you could do a rest time, and then a distance, and then a rest time, and then a time, and then a rest time. So this is probably the most complex of interval workouts you're going to do. Typically, most of the time, you're going to be doing the same interval with the same amount of rest. Although those things do differ. There are other workouts out there that do mix that up. And so, you know, that's pretty much how intervals work. So if I go back to the main menu here, and if you notice I'm still pressing menu and I'm back to the main menu. If I want to look at a workout and see what I did, I can go back to this main menu, and then I'm going to hit memory, and then there's various options. So I could look at my monthly totals right there, and that's going to tell me every month, you know, how much I've been rowing on the machine. I can go back to menu. Typically, listing by date is the quickest way to get back to a workout. So for example, if I wanted to look at that, you know, 1 minute on, 1 minute off times 10, I could go, and again, I'm using the arrows right here. If you want to go like all the way down to the bottom, then you could click that one, and that just does a page at one time. So I'm going right back to where I was before. And then I can go down here, and then I can hit this magnifying glass with a plus, and when I click on that, that's going to bring up all the data for that workout I did on December 12th, 2022. And when you put new batteries in these machines, it does ask you to set the date and the time. So it's a really good idea to do that so that you can keep track of different things and things like that. So that's basically most of the functionality of the Concept2. That's usually the stuff that you would kind of use. I hope you've enjoyed the video. I hope you find it helpful and useful. And you know, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel and like the video. And I'll see you on the next one. But hopefully that was helpful and sort of a guided tour of the PM5. It's very powerful. really, and it's kind of cool to know exactly how to do different things. All right, thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.